A lot of you have been asking for another Craigslist video, and I haven't been reluctant because of the lawsuit. I think that is just a joke, honestly, and I'll comment more on that in a dedicated video once certain things unfold. A lot of stuff has happened, pretty serious stuff, between the last video, which you can check out here, and today, but I don't want to talk about any of that until it's basically all culminated and then hopefully concluded sooner rather than later. But we'll see. I don't want that, though, to take away from the fact that I think I'm still well within my right to make these videos, and that's why this one here exists. Now, that said, the ad in this video is terrible, to say the least, and that's why I think it deserves its own video, because either this seller, I'm gonna assume it's a he, is delusional, or borderline delusional, or he genuinely thinks that older hardware ages like fine wine. And I have a feeling it's the latter. Usually I can sift through the BS of the trolls who are looking for attention on videos like these. This one seems legit. I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. With that said, let's go ahead and jump into it. So this here is the ad. You can see the title says custom built extreme gaming computer. You know it's going to be a bestseller when we have extreme in the title. We have 17 pictures to grace our eyes, and I'll tell you about 5 or 6 of them are absolutely atrocious. I can't believe this individual didn't try at all to cable manage anything. He's got cables running all across his CPU cooler, and everything looks dusty. It's just not a pleasant sight. What I think is worse is this description, though. If he had just neglected to include any of this crap and left the pictures and a decent price, this thing would probably already have sold. So you know when they start things off with "for serious gamers only!" exclamation mark, it's gonna be a pretty intense ad. And then in all caps right underneath that, please read carefully. Custom built gaming computer, Antec ATX full tower gaming case, black steel cooling system, 1200 V3. Here are the specs. Condition, used. All right, thanks for that. Item type, full tower gaming case brand, Antec. This blah, blah, blah looks like a bunch of crap you copied and pasted off of some third-party retailer site. This case alone is almost $3,000 new. This right here has me scratching my head. Is he referring to just the case or the build, like the PC in the case, including the case? So on the outside, Asus ROG Rampage 4 Black Edition LGA 2011 DDR3 AC Wi-Fi USB 3.0 Intel X79 EATX motherboard. Okay, you could just say Rampage 4 Black Extreme. Okay, like we can see the pictures, and this individual says that this motherboard cost almost $1,000, so you know it's a good one, folks. Extreme Engine Digi Plus 3 hardcore power delivery with premium components. Supreme FX Black Amazing 120 decibel signal to noise ratio. 600 ohm audio. OC panel. Overclocking command center. VGA hotwire. Hotwire your system. What am I even reading right now? It sounds like I'm at a used car dealership and I'm being sold on some tech that, you know, is just full of mumbo jumbo that actually means nothing at all. On to some actual substance here. Intel Core i7 processor. All right, so he's super specific about the motherboard, but he fails to mention the specifics of the CPU. Am I reading this wrong? Am I missing a chunk of this ad? Did I skip something? No, I don't think so. So why so specific on the motherboard? Like he's trying to sell this whole build on the premise that the motherboard is extremely expensive and the CPU is just, it's a Core i7, 3.7 gigahertz. That's all I have to say about that. And then we have the 32 gigs of RAM. Again, not specific. He did say 32 gigs, so at least we know how much he's running in there. He was semi-specific about the hard drives. Again, just the storage, but we don't know the specific brands. We don't know the RPM. I have no idea. So these could be crap hard drives for all we know. And then he says NVIDIA, he spelled that wrong, NVIDIA GeoForce. You see that, folks? GeoForce GTX 760 display adapter X2. DVD CD-ROM drives. We have an Asus DVD CD-ROM player, Blu-ray, and then we have another CD-ROM writable down below. Amsoft virtual sound device. He's got a sound card in there, Intel C600X79 chipset, Why is that down here? You should have put that up there with that huge paragraph talking about your motherboard. Will include the following: Microsoft Windows 7 Professional 64-bit and then Office 2010. Other stuff included the monitor. It's an ON 21-inch, almost brand new. We'll have to look that one up. Corsair gaming keyboard. This keyboard is almost $120 new. Okay, we don't care how much it cost you new. It's not new anymore. Anchor, laser gaming mouse, gaming headphones, brand new, never used. I mean, that's worth mentioning. It's good that he mentioned that. If you never used it, then yeah, in my eyes, it's probably new. I mean, if you open the box, I don't think you should call it new. It's probably new / open box. He has a printer, I guess he's including, HP Office Jet Pro 6968, almost new. And then we have an Altec Lansing IML 227 Orbit USB light speaker for laptops and netbooks. Okay. And then we get to the juiciest of the juicy sections of this ad, and that is the asking price. See, he doesn't put it up top. There's no price up there. You gotta read the entire ad to figure out what this guy wants for this thing. And he says he's asking $49.95. There's no decimal in there, folks. That's $4,995 this individual's asking for this build. Oh, but wait, I forgot something. OBO. This has been researched and value verified independently of myself for fair value. Please, only serious offers will be considered. Okay, so this sentence right here is a hot load of BS. Never trust anybody who says value verified independently. And yeah, because I didn't value verify it on my own, that means that the price I'm asking is totally fair because someone else says it's fair. I could pay my brother $5 to say that, you know, the PC I'm using right now is worth $30,000. It's nowhere close to that, but so what? I got it value verified, so it's totally fair. Now at this point, I've got to say, I don't necessarily have a problem with the way in which the case is presented, apart from the fact that there's a lot of dust buildup, cable management issues. You guys have knocked on me in the past for knocking on these people who have terrible cable management. I'm not going to dive too far into this. It's a quick fix. I just wish that people who are asking this much money for a build would clean it up a bit. You know, show some respect for the build you're trying to flip. But that aside, I think the bigger concern here, the more obvious concern, arguably, is the fact that this person is trying to justify extreme and outrageous prices for extremely used components. First off, the idea that this motherboard here is, you know, $1,000 in 2019 is insane, and that's almost exactly what the seller's trying to do, is pass this off as a $1,000 board, because there's no other way to justify the $5,000 sum total that he's got there at the bottom. So just a quick LGA 2011 X79 motherboard search on eBay, and you'll find that these boards go for anywhere between $100 and $200 on average. Maybe not specifically the Rampage 4, but a lot of these boards have similar features. It's an extreme chipset, and you shouldn't expect much less in this regard. Here's something else I just noticed. This guy says that the case is worth $3,000 in the description, right? And I wasn't sure if he was talking about the entire build or just the case, which would be very, very comical. And he actually included a convenient snapshot of an Amazon listing of this exact case, and then you can see it says new from $26.90.34 and free shipping. So because he found this on one third-party seller's page on Amazon for close to $3,000, he thinks he can get $3,000 for it. This has got to be a joke. I can't see how somebody could be this dumb, frankly. $26.90.34 for this case. You heard it here, folks. A bunch of steel and a couple fans, and there you go. There's $3,000. By the way, one of the reasons why you might see a very outrageous price for a rather cheap component, just kind of on and off on sites like Amazon and Newegg, is because of inventory loss. So if the seller doesn't have that product in stock to sell immediately, what they'll do is they'll raise the price to some outrageous, crazy amount they know no one would pay, so that they don't have to remove the product from the retailer's page, from Amazon or Newegg's pages. So it's a way to keep things on the site without having to take it down and then repost it. And then once they get the item back in stock, they'll just readjust the price down to the, you know, more sane amount, and then they can begin selling again without having to renew the page. And then of course we can't forget this graphics card in here, the NVIDIA GeoForce GTX 760. And then he says display adapter X2. I'm like, what? He's saying there's two display adapters? Like, what kind of display adapters are we talking about here? I don't feel like this person knows what he's typing. I think he's just trying to copy and paste stuff from product pages. Anyway, GTX 760 wouldn't pay more than, oh gosh, in 2019, maybe 50 bucks for it. I would say that's even a stretch. I wouldn't buy a 760 really for any modern gaming rig. You can get cards that are around 100 bucks that'll blow this out of the water in the used market. So 760 is pretty much obsolete in my book. And then the fact that it's paired with just a, I don't know what kind of i7, but just an i7 in the Extreme platform, X79, it just doesn't make much sense again in this day and age. It looks like the CPU cooler is kind of beefy. It looks like the power supply is satisfactory, but I mean, there's so much crap in front of all of this that I can't really see the components specifics. Now, look, the whole ordeal here with the used market is that prices are subjective. The value that you inherently see in a component or an entire build is all in your head. It's what you think that build is worth, and your money is ultimately the determinant. How much of it you fork over for said component can say a lot about your preferences, about your desires, how badly you want something, maybe the supply and demand. If there's not a lot of supply out there of a particular good, then you're probably gonna pay more for it because you don't come across that stuff every day. The notion that a case is suddenly worth $3,000 because, again, a retailer marked it up to near $3,000 because they ran out of inventory and didn't want to retract the posting is just a bit insane. That's not how markets work anywhere. It doesn't matter if you're a capitalist or a socialist or communist or anything of the sort. Just because a retailer says it's worth $3,000 does not mean that it's worth $3,000. Okay, maybe in a communistic or socialistic economy, if a government says it's worth something and they mandate a price, I guess you can't really argue with that. But in a capitalistic one, that's not how it works. If I wanted to sell my car for $100,000, but I only paid $20,000 for it, I'm gonna be rich really fast and I'm gonna rip somebody off big time. Now that said, I don't think that the seller has an ominous intent behind this posting. And what I mean by that is I don't think the seller is trying to rip somebody off for thousands of dollars, literally, by conning them and making them, think something about a build is true when in fact it is very far from the truth. I think that the seller is just so blatantly misinformed and so out of touch with reality that they think their system is actually worth that it's worth more than they paid for it, because I know they paid way less for it than what they're trying to sell it for now. Inflation is not accounting for that big of a gap. Who knows? I might be totally wrong, but you should stay away from this ad. That's my professional opinion, because this person is asking way more than I would ever pay for it. I would say $500-600, and that's assuming that the i7 is not a really expensive i7 because they didn't specify. And when they don't specify, I assume the worst, because why else would you be vague? So yeah, what do you guys think about this one? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, thumbs up. You know what to do. Giving videos like these a thumbs up helps me a lot. It lets me gauge audience interaction and appreciation for a topic. And if the ratios, if I have like an 80% like ratio, well, maybe I could have done a better job. What can I do differently? Let me check the comments. So it kind of is an indicator of performance and preference, and it does really help. So be sure to like or dislike depending on your preference, how you felt about this one. And also, don't be shy. Link your own Craigslist ads that you find. It doesn't have to be on Craigslist. Could be OfferUp, could be Facebook Marketplace. Just something that you find online that is not a great deal, and I might throw it into a future video like this one. You guys have been awesome. I will catch you in the next one. This is Science Studio. Thanks for watching, and thanks for cringing with us.